Pause.
Hello, my dance friends, and welcome to my channel. Today, I get to chat with Serena Spears. Serena is a fusion dance instructor and performer from New York, inspired by MENAHT movement and Latin-based dances, contemporary dance, and ballet. She dances everything from bachata to timba to every form of salsa to Afro-Cuban folkloric dance, and many, many more. She describes herself as the constant student, striving to learn a variety of forms of dance with the utmost respect to each of those dance styles, as well as to the bodies performing them. Serena is also a part of the small group that started Emerge Fusion Dance Festival last year in August of 2020, debuting as an online festival with a small group of diverse and talented instructors and offering affordable and recorded workshops. Today, we get to chat about how Serena found herself in MENAHT-inspired fusion dance, what her preferred style of fusion dance is at the moment, how the Emerge Fusion Dance Festival got started, and when you can catch her teaching and performing next. Stay till the very end to hear about an upcoming Fusion Latin Dance Festival. Serena will be teaching a very special workshop at this online festival. So without further ado, here's Serena. Hello, Serena.
Hello!
It's so lovely to see you, and I'm so excited to get to chat with you today. Finally!
I'm excited to talk to you too. Thank you for inviting me.
Definitely. I have been a fan of your dance style and your art for quite a while now, and I am really excited to delve in on how you got into MENAHT-inspired fusion dance.
So I fell accidentally into the MENAHT scene. I was around 19 or 20, and I was a dance major in college, changing majors every 2 years as you do. But I was studying ballet and modern and African at the time. And if you met me then, you would be really shocked at where I am now. It sort of like took a really random left turn. A friend of mine from grade school went to a Christmas party where they had a dancer, and the dancer offered her 2 free passes to a class. And so she said, I'll take you to dinner, but I know you're the only person that would go to this class with me, and I need you to try it with me because I'm really curious. I was like, what? I was doing hip hop at the time. Like, I was dressed like a boy. It was really bizarre. So we go to this class, and the movements felt familiar, but so weird. In the same way, there was this like feminine sheen on top of all the things that I knew. I was intrigued. I walked into this class thinking like, I'm never taking a belly dance class again. I am just here for the dinner and to support my friend. And at the end of the class, I was like, when are we coming back? This is awesome. And the teacher pulled me aside and was like, I want you to stay after and come to our, she had a dance troupe that performed at restaurants and weddings and festivals and stuff. And she was like, I think you'd be really good. I want you to like fast track into my company. I was like, this is moving so fast. I was not ready. I was not prepared for this, but let's do it. She's this lovely Israeli woman. She lives on Long Island, and she was doing Indian fusion as well as MENAHT dance. And so I started in cabaret, even though I feel like most people know me through Sarah Solstice. So that was my entrance to MENAHT dance.
Like you said, you studied lots of different dances in college. What other dance styles are you primarily intrigued with at this point in time? What's kind of stolen your heart?
Ooh, okay, so right now I have fallen accidentally into the Latin scene, Latin fusion, partner dancing, Afro-Cuban folklore, Brazilian folklore dances. It's yet again another random left turn. I won a free pass online to this partner dance festival. A friend of mine sent the link to me and they were like, this looks like something you might be interested in. And I was like, I know nothing about partner dance. I don't know why you would assume that, but I am literally just a combination of like YOLO and FOMO. I am afraid to say no to any opportunities, so I just like, let's do it.
I also got to attend Emerge Dance Festival last year, which was really awesome. Obviously, last year was crazy, but Emerge Fusion Dance Fest was this bright, shining light in the middle of it in August, and everyone was so excited to be able to take workshops online from an array of super talented instructors, including yourself. And I'd love to hear a little bit about how that came together.
Emerge was the brainchild of Carolina Lux, Rin Ajna, Kelly Lee, Michelle Sorensen, and me, like at 1 a.m. at an Airbnb in Vegas during Massive, just like cracked out on candy. We were talking, I don't know, the conversation just sort of veered to our experiences in the scene and the conversations that were recently happening about like what we'd like to change, what we'd like to see more of, opportunities in the scene and how they're distributed. I credit Carolina with starting this idea because she literally went into her room and got a notebook and came out with a pen and was like, all right, you guys, I want to know what would be at your perfect festival. We're going to write it down and then we're going to make it happen. And I was like, what? Are you out of your mind? So I really respect her insane idealistic optimism. I am not that person. Super like analytical and realistic. And I was like, this is ridiculous. We don't have the funds to create a festival. And this was right before the pandemic hit. And so we assumed that this would be live, like this would be in person. And so we were like, hiring volunteers and finding a venue and like what city do we put it in and how would we manage getting people there, because part of what was on the list was making it affordable, because this is one of the complaints that we were having, that the scene is skewed toward people who can afford fancy costumes and traveling around the country or the world to train and perform. So we wrote down our list with me in mind, thinking this is a pipe dream. So on this list, and I love this because we like all came up with it together and it was really thoughtful and beautiful. Just this late night thinking about what would be amazing. We want to have teachers from cultures of origin, not just MENAHT, but also the things we're fusing. A lot of times when we have teachers and we're fusing elements, we're still taking classes from people in the scene who are fusion artists themselves. We're not taking that style from the root and supporting those dancers and that community and that culture. That was number one. We're like, bring in teachers from the cultures that we are fusing from, paying them well. This was one of the major complaints that all of us across the board were like, even when we teach at festivals, it's not sustainable. A lot of us still have side gigs and side jobs in order to make this work. So like paying a living wage for our teachers, having inclusive and safe spaces for BIPOC dancers and for LGBTQ dancers, making sure that we're hiring those dancers and not just bringing them in to perform and take classes, and having scholarships for them, but also supporting them as they move up in the community, giving them a space to move up in the community. We also wanted respect for both the original roots and the fusion art forms. That like there are a lot of teachers that are in one camp or the other and despise the opposite, and it just doesn't make any sense. We had a panel discussion which made my life. As part of the panel discussion, we were talking about how you can't have a tree without roots, and roots without a tree is dead. You need both. You need growth and you need support from the past. So having teachers that are supportive of each other, even if they're in one camp or the other. I am a fusion artist. I have never done a single style where I'm like, okay, I'm officially 100% committed to learning this thing for 5-10 years, you know? I have always been just meandering through different forms of dance. And like, that's my path, but I respect immensely the people who stick with a thing and become masters. I know I'm not a master of a single thing. And I can say that. Like people, no, for real. I know I'm not. because I've never spent 5 years fully committed to a single thing that was not fusion. We need to be respecting and pulling in those people while we are also fusion artists. We know that all 5 of us sitting at this table are fusion artists. We are all in this one camp. And that means that we had to bring in teachers who are these core culture teachers. So like for our first year, we brought in a Meltop suit and also an incredible popper, Mega Man from Canada. And the only reason it worked was because of the pandemic and everything going online. That is the only reason that we were able to put this together in the first year. Because otherwise we probably would have wanted to do it live in person. And people from all over the world were able to come. And they were so excited about that. They were like, if it had been in person, the cost would have been too prohibitive. Just the flights alone, I would not have been able to go. So it meant a lot to all of us to be able to have that event, to have it online, to have people from all over the world join in. And especially like we recorded all the sessions so that even if people in Asia, like the classes are at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, they could still take the class with the recording. So that was really important to us. We don't know when we're running the next one. I think we are considering the summer, but maybe the fall. But I don't want to speak for everyone. So look for Emerge 2021.
I don't know who all was running that, like behind the scenes while all y'all were teaching, but it was so super organized because I was one of those last minute jerks that was like, hey, I know it's the day of, but can I still pay you and attend? And I got a response. Oh, see? That's amazing. Yeah, the love and passion behind it was pretty easy to see.
The organization, I want to shout out Lucitera from Canada. Those 2 were phenomenal. We pulled them in. They had been in Vegas and we were supposed to have the panel discussion at Massive and it got canceled because of the pandemic. So like the very end of the festival, things got a little weird and they canceled this panel discussion. And so we decided to pull it online and we had already had this late night conversation. And so it just like snowballed into a festival from this panel discussion. So the 5 from the dinner table plus the 2 from Lucitera were a dream team of organization. Like I was spreadsheet queen, but everyone was like answering emails and responding to requests and making sure that the Zoom was all set up and doing the video editing for the performances. I would never try to run a festival by myself, but with the 7 of us, it was so easy. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I'm in love with them all. I'm still in love with them all.
Can you tell us about anything else that's going on in the future? I hear there's a specific Latin fusion dance festival happening soon.
Yes. Okay, so I'm really excited about this one. It is QALDF, or the Queer Afro-Latin Dance Festival. It's run by 2 incredible queer Latin fusion dancers out in San Francisco. It has 13 different classes in 10 different styles of dance. So we have salsa, bachata, merengue, Latin fusion, Brazilian zouk, vogue, heels, jazz, hip hop, yoga, and a body movement class by yours truly. Like it's not just for the Latin scene. It really is trying to encompass a lot of like Afro dances plus Latin dances and have a more holistic approach to the dance scene. They're taking it online this year. 2 years ago, they had the festival in San Francisco, technically in Oakland. And then last year they had to cancel because pandemic. So this year they decided that they were going to take it online. They were going to have all the classes recorded so that they could bring in an ASL interpreter, which I think is amazing. And there are performances and there are DJ sets so that you can like listen to them and dance in your own house and have your own little like small pandemic personal family party with your pandemic pod. I'm really excited about this because I'm trying to support the queer scene within the Latin dance scene. Coming from the MENAHT scene, specifically the MENAHT fusion scene, it's very heavily woman and non-binary focused. It's like much more safe and I feel like much more equality focused, and a thoughtful discourse is already happening about how to improve that even further. But the Latin scene is still highly male-driven and chauvinistic, and a lot of queer dancers have difficulty feeling accepted and encouraged to even stay. I think it's really important for them to have their own festival where they are doing the hiring and they are doing the performing and they are doing the teaching. And so I'm just really trying to support that event, and I'm excited to be a part of it. Yay!
Could you tell us a little bit more about your specific workshop?
So this sort of goes back to whether or not I'm really teaching. And honestly, I haven't been. I haven't been teaching very much at all. And most of that is because I prefer to be a student, and I also prefer to push teachers who have been doing a thing for a much longer time than I have. So this sort of goes back to my meandering. I feel like I meander just long enough until people are like, hey, do you teach that? I'm like, not really. I'm just on my way out as it is. So you don't want to take classes with me. And I don't necessarily have the focus to be like, I'm going to teach a weekly class and it's going to be this, this, and this. But I also am like an extreme perfectionist. And if I'm going to teach, it's going to be perfect. And so I don't really teach very much. But what I have started teaching is body movement devoid of a dance form. Like, I have studied so many different forms of dance that I've seen a lot of different movement qualities, sizes and shapes and direction and isolation and personality, that I started developing a way of analyzing it so that I could replicate it. And it's by taking physiologically, how do you move? How can the body move? It is not based on a gender, and it's not based on a body type, and it's not based on an idea of what bodies have to look like or have to do. It's just, how does your body move? How can it move? And how does it feel good to move? And I think that that's one of the most important things, because a lot of classes focus on looking like the teacher, but if their body isn't anything like yours, it's not going to look the same, and it can't look the same, and it shouldn't look the same. And finding your own personality in your movement, and finding safe movement, and finding good feeling movement is where I have been feeling pulled to teach. And so my class is like, how does the chest move? How can the chest move? How do the hips move? How do the shoulders move? How does the head move? And all the different styles of dance that are created by simply putting all the pieces together. And I think that I have my side, and I also push students to learn like the holistic approach of having the technique to find that, but recognizing that you have to respect each individual dance. Even if you can look like it, you have to learn deeper than that. You have to actually be doing it. I think it's in the fusion scene, but it's also in the Latin scene of people who come in and they learn well enough to look good, and then they start to teach. But they don't have the roots to really give a good place for other students to learn. So like, their roots aren't very deep, which means their students' roots are even shallower, which means their students, when they start teaching after 1 or 2 years, are even shallower than that. And we're starting to get, I see it in every dance form. So it's not like it's just in fusion. It's everywhere, but it's just this impatience to start imparting knowledge before you even have it. I want to send people to people who have that knowledge. I know that I want it, but I don't have it. I have this. I can teach people how to find safe, good feeling movement while they study with these teachers, finding the things in their individual dance forms that they're looking for.
Oh, that's beautiful. Everybody needs this. I hear more and more teachers saying it. Maybe it's because I'm open to hearing it now, that you don't have to look like me, look like you, but these are the movements that I'm putting together for a sequence that we will do together at a specific time frame, but do it to feel and move the way that you want to feel and move. And that's so refreshing and wonderful, and it's how dance should be.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think part of my shift into the Latin scene was recognizing that I was missing social dancing. And I didn't realize it until I got there, of how little social dancing there really is in the fusion scene, that we're very focused on classes into the performance realm, but that we don't necessarily like hang out and get together and just dance, like just have a party and dance and not be in front of a mirror and not be trying to copy each other, and just feeling our own individuality within dance without making it an external thing. It doesn't have to look like anything. It can feel like something for us. When I got to the Latin scene, because so much of it is focused on social dancing, you go out to a party and they play music and someone asks you to dance and you dance for a song and then you hug and thank you and you move on to the next person and you're just like, you do it again for hours and hours and hours, and no one's recording. I mean, like, now that there's Instagram, I feel like it's more popular for people to be like, oh my God, can you record my dance right now? I'm dancing with so-and-so. But like, a lot of these dances are just because you like the feeling of dancing. It's not for anyone outside of the partnership of dance. And I had that when I was younger, like going out to hip hop clubs or playing pop music and just going out and dancing. And I hadn't done that for so long that I forgot that that's what I love about dance. Just feeling what I like to do. It doesn't have to be for anybody else. Go out there and dance for yourselves. I feel like people don't get to hear that enough. I feel like the like Instagram and TikTok craze right now. I feel like such an old woman saying this. The TikTok and Instagram craze is ruining our dancing. It's all about looking like somebody else and getting famous. If you love that, it's great. And I'm not even mad at it, honestly. But like, what I love about dance is just the feeling of movement. And if that's something for you, then don't worry about followers and don't worry about likes and don't worry about getting famous. Just dance for yourself. Enjoy it.
Well, thank you so much, Serena, for the visit. It was so great to get to chat with you and have a few minutes to talk about all the projects you've been working on, and I'm just so thrilled to have this time with you.
Thank you so much, Blair. It was awesome to talk to you. I really appreciate you having me on. I appreciate anyone who has made it to the end of this video. Thank you for listening to us ramble. Mwah! We love you. Bye!
That's it, guys. I'm linking all of Serena's information in the description box below, including how to register for her upcoming workshop. If you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel so I can continue to make more videos like this for you. This week's Patreon shout out goes to Tamara Gansler. For fusion dance tutorials, drills, warm-ups and cool downs, conditioning, and performance tips, you can join my Patreon at the link below. Thanks so much, guys.